How to get the splits. First, figure out your why. So why do you want to get splits? And write it down and put it on your desk or wherever you can see it. Look at it every day. This is really important because once the stretching gets tough and painful, you'll want to stop. So if you have your why with you, then there'll be less chances of you stop stretching. So it could be because of a sport, or if you just want to get flexible in general. For me, it was because of figure skating. People usually underestimate warm-ups, but they can be really useful, at least to me. If you are warming up, then there'll be a better chance that the stretches that you do later will work better. So warm-ups include jumping jacks or running. And for me, yoga, I do yoga every day. And that's my warm-up for doing my split stretches. And these are just some examples of stretches, but you can go online and find lots of stretches. So there are two main categories, kinda. So it's like your hamstrings, which is your left splits and your right splits. And the straddle part, which is basically your middle splits. It depends on which splits you want to get first. So for me, I think it was more easier to do the left splits and right splits because I was more flexible in my hamstrings. But I was aiming for all three, so make sure to do a variety of the stretches for your hamstrings and stretches for your straddle. Because if you only do stretches for your hamstrings, then it'll be really hard to get your middle splits. And now some tips. Be patient. It took me over a year to get my right splits, and I was stretching every day, except some days where I forgot, but that was really rare. So don't be mad at yourself if you don't get it. There's lots of videos that are how to get splits in one day, and that is pretty much impossible if you're not already extremely flexible. So be very patient. And also watch lots of videos. So for me, I have a special routine that I do when I stretch, and it's combined of all the stretches that I learned from videos and from posters. So make sure to get lots of ideas from videos. And know your limits, because I once had a friend and her dad tried to do the middle splits and ended up breaking his legs. So make sure that you don't go over your limits. I don't think this will be much of a problem because your body will tell you when it's your limit. It will start hurting a lot. So just be careful and do your splits at the end of your stretching session, and don't go down too fast because that could really break your muscles. So be patient and know your limits. Next, consistency. So I stretched every day for over a year, except for a few days. And it depends on how badly you need the splits. For example, if you need it in 1 year, then you'd be stretching every day. But if you need it in 7 years, then you could just stretch a few times a week. So make sure that you're consistent. You can't just stretch one day and then forget about it and do the splits. Or another thing is, once you get the splits, you still have to continue stretching. Because if you don't continue stretching, eventually you will stop getting the splits. And I learned it the hard way, so I had to get the splits twice since I stopped after I got the splits. So just continue to stretching every day. And also, what I find really helpful for when it's starting to get really painful is distractions. Distractions are like reading a book, listening to music, watching a video, or any other distraction you can think about while you're doing the splits, so you won't get bored and you won't die of the pain because it is quite painful. And like what I do is after my stretching session, I do the right splits for 5 minutes, I do my left splits for 5 minutes, and I recently got my middle splits back in December, so I do that for 2 minutes, but I'm working out my way to 5 minutes. And I hope this was helpful.